So our next panelist, saving some awesomeness for the end. If you were to take YouTube, which is the largest UGC platform of video, and certainly the one that we've all grown up on and know very well. Take that and mirror it with live experiences and the reality of what we can exchange in a live environment, and then take a foodie involved in all of those layers. You end up with Nam, and Vijay is the founder of Nam, and here to talk about it.
Great, thank you. It's always great to do a happy hour talk, and the fact that we do a foodie website with mixology videos, I think is very appropriate for an afternoon in Chelsea. So we launched Nam about 2 months ago at South by Southwest, and if I could give a simple, one-sentence explanation of what it is, it's taking the food and cooking shows and travel shows that you love on TV and bringing them live and rethinking them for mobile. And we've put a big emphasis on trying to make them immersive and build audience engagement to the platform, and there have been a bunch of technical hurdles that we've tried to address over the last couple months leading up to it. But both me and my co-founder are big foodies, but we also come from a world you may know. Steve was co-founder of YouTube and CTO, and he's CTO here. I was also running an engineering team for the user-facing parts of YouTube, and I'm now the CEO here. And we wanted to bring a passion that we both personally have to this new world of what you can do on mobile and with live video. And so there's both a website and an app. But one of our key goals is that as you're watching one of these shows and you're live, audience engagement is our biggest metric. It's our biggest measure. Are people having fun? Are they engaging? Are they posting their own photos and video clips along with the content that they're seeing? And we've had a lot of fun so far just playing with this format. So the title of the talk is that the secret to live engagement that we found is to let it simmer. And because we do a food website, I thought up lots of alternate names. We could do stir slowly. You could do spices needed, or you could just, my favorite, you could say more butter is the biggest one. But in reality, letting it simmer is a metaphor for a bunch of things that we learned. And a lot of this has just been lessons that we've had from the early days of YouTube that applied to on-demand video. And we had to rethink about 3 key things when we came into live. So the early days of live video on YouTube was a lot like this. It was the Coachella live stream. There would be a big truck in the back, and that would stream through Akamai. And so the earliest attempt to do something other than someone else's event was our YouTube Live event. And so this predated the upfronts, predated NewFronts. It was a way to showcase YouTube and what you could do with a live audience and try to build engagement into there at a core level. But YouTube in some ways was a big dumb pipe. So this was served up through Akamai as a CDN. Edgecast has grown over the years, but this was like an early, really strong test case for it. After that, we started getting into various interesting aspects of this. So I was really into politics, and I was really excited that we got to partner with CNN for the YouTube debates. This was Steve Grove over at YouTube that helped coordinate it. You could see then Senator Barack Obama and then Senator Hillary Clinton, and these are obviously much more innocent and fun times back then. But this whole debate was really exciting for us, and we started to think through, what are different ways we could build an audience engagement into there. And so the first call to action we did was just asking people to upload questions for the debate. And this was really fun. It was really exciting. It actually changed the news cycle around the entire debate format. But we also got a lot of flack from it. So there was a melting snowman that asked a question about global warming. And 2 days later, I think the Republicans tried to back out of their second debate because they said that was inappropriate for the presidential cycle. And that history is yet to be written so far. The White House got really into it too. So Katie Stanton, who went over to State Department and then Twitter, helped lead this initiative. This was a live town hall that we broadcast. One way I thought about why Obama was so excited about this aspect of it is every video on YouTube has its own kind of release window. If you're doing movies, you have the release window being in theaters, and then you're at home networks and you're on DVD. Politicians also have their own release cycle. If you do a policy video, if you do a paper, you're there in the morning, you're there in the evening shows, but then it kind of ends there. And live is kind of a way of breaking out of any sort of preset release window. That's one of the biggest changes about this feature. Obama could do a live video and engage with the audience, and that can carry on for days or weeks on the same policy issue. So in the early days then, too, people started thinking about UGC and live in a very different way. And the biggest success story out of there was Justin TV, which turned into Twitch. And some of you may not watch Twitch or know a lot about esports, but it's easily way bigger than Facebook Live or Periscope combined together. It is a huge network. And it started off with key insights they had about how you build the audience into what you do with the live video stream. Periscope obviously launched, and that's been a huge game changer, and now we have Facebook Live. There's a lot about the vertical video format that we learned is really appropriate to live video and appropriate to video and mobile. And I think we're just in the early days of figuring out what are the different formats that work out there. YouTube Live 360, I think, is going to be one of the biggest things if you think about that 2 to 3 year endpoint. And we're also really big into what we can do with VR. It's still in the early days. This doesn't feel as immersive as you'd want it to be when you're watching a concert. You can easily see some of the problems with this when you go into it. But there's so much you can do with the format. And because we focus on food and cooking, we're playing around with what you can do in the kitchen. So there's at least three big things about video that really change a lot when you come into there. One is that vertical really changes how you do discovery. Autoplay of video within a feed is super important, and autoplay of live video is a whole different beast. So ideally, you want to autoplay a highlighted segment of a live video stream so that you delve viewers in. The audio can't be important during that segment because most of autoplay is muted. I think Facebook released stats, so it's something like 80 or 90% of their video views are muted for at least the first minute of the playback. And that's true for us too. It's a lot of muted watching on the phone. You have to delve people in with visual content when you're getting into discovery. And so we've been playing around with different aspects of that. The other part of it is that live is not just the video. It has to be a part of everything you build out. You have to know that this particular host is live right now, even if the video ended 30 minutes ago, and that he'll respond to additional points of engagement you do. And that's important for the host too. So a lot of what we've been thinking about is after you do your first live video, and you could be live from a restaurant, or you could be showing the beginning of how you make cauliflower pizza, how you get the person to that next step. Are they sharing photos or video clips? Are they then doing the next live video? How do you bring the audience back in? You have to inform the viewers that live is an important part of everything you're doing in order to make that work. So the three key things I think that we've realized have changed. In the YouTube days, we thought of audience engagement as inversely proportional to video length. So we had these metrics around 30 seconds and 3 seconds and 30 seconds. 3 seconds for a short form video, you could tell whether that person actually cared about the short form video. 30 seconds for a long form video, you could tell whether they were actually going to watch the rest of what they were seeing. And it was inversely proportional, so if you had a 5-minute video, it would get less engagement than a 2-hour video. The second key point was that screen size was inversely proportional to engagement. So when people watch on a wide video screen, they want to lean back. But the fact that they were engaging less meant they would watch more content. They might watch an hour of video. We always thought of phones as a place for short-form video clips, and one of the challenges for YouTube was always getting the right short-form video clips that people would want to watch on mobile. And then the third key thing, and this is dear to my heart because Sai is one of our angel investors at NOP, but the Gangnam Style video, if you looked at the graph of how it went viral, this is spaced out not over minutes or hours, it's spaced out over days and weeks. So a video takes time for people to write about it. Gawker has to write about it, Boing Boing. Those journalists are thinking about how they want to position the video. It was only through those channels that people would find out about new videos on YouTube, and we could figure out correlations between videos. And so it would take days or weeks for people to actually do all the hard work of sharing and making something go viral. All of that's kind of changed when we've gotten into the live perspective. And I think it's great that people saw, hopefully some of you saw the Watermelon BuzzFeed video, which I think is a great example of some of this. One is that really engagement has to happen over a 3 to 5 hour long story. So a lot of people are doing live videos right now that are like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. That's actually not that interesting for this form of content. What you ideally want to do is keep viewers coming back over 4 hours or 5 hours, because it takes that time window in order for a live video to actually engage with the audience, for people to realize what's going on enough to share with other people that might tune in. The other key thing is that you should be able to jump in and out of creation. So BuzzFeed with the Watermelon video is a fixed camera sitting there. But we're thinking a lot about mobile creation, and mobile creation is a different beast. You want to let viewers and the audience put down their phones, do something else for a period of time, and then bring it back up at the key moments in a point. So if you think about red carpet live video streams, you want to be on the red carpet for Angelina Jolie, but then turn it off and then bring it back on for, I don't know who the next big celebrity you'd want to see is. But hopefully you jump in and out of that experience and you don't try to keep people locked in. And the other big thing is really you've got to experiment with this medium. So, I think with BuzzFeed, this was an amazing experiment with what you could do with a low budget. But the next great video they're going to do, it's going to be something totally different from this. And you have to have a format where you can really just play with it. We've been playing a lot with NAM with the idea of multiple cameras just using your iPhones. And this is the start of what we're thinking around VR in the kitchen. So if you imagine a great open-air kitchen, and we've been playing around with different 360 format cameras, you might want to tune into a sous chef at one point in the video, but you might want to turn into the head chef plating dishes at the end of it. The important aspect of this is just keeping the storyline through the audio. So when people are tuning into a particular part of this video, you have to make sure the audio syncs up with what they expect out of the experience, but you still have to be able to tell the whole story through audio. And the other change is that you have to be a lot more conversational. So Facebook launched Facebook Live, and they had a big thing at F8, but I actually think the bots part of it is as big of a story for live video as anything else. And the idea being that people want to have a conversation with this feed. They want to see what their friends are saying. They want to engage with it. But you also, as a platform, you have to be able to have a conversation with every individual person in a unique way. So if someone's tuned in on cauliflower pizza because they're vegan, you need to have a conversation with them that's very different than someone tuning in because they're trying to lose weight. They're just very vastly different expectations sort of what they want to get out of the show. And being able to keep that conversation personalized is really important to us. So the last few bits, creators are just super resourceful, and we've learned this with live more than any platform. One of our best videos was a couple out in Brooklyn, and they were supposed to be teaching spaghetti, and they ended up using food coloring in the mix, and they throw food coloring all over themselves in the course of making this video, and you just end up with like a blue mohawk at the end of the video. And that was almost more fun than actually learning anything about Italian cooking or Tuscan cooking. So you should let creators be as resourceful as possible. And also just keeping the fridge well stocked. So if you give creators tools, if you have the ability to give reactions on a video, they turn around and make that into a polling mechanism for the audience. Having various sorts of ways of engaging with the audience is going to be super important in live going forward. And I think we're just at the beginning of this medium, and I think people that have the right tools, those are the platforms that creators are going to have the most fun with. But great, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Vijay.